Welcome, everybody, to another broadcast for NACE Starleague. First off, we're starting off with Rocket League, but got to introduce ourselves first. My name is Danger Taco, and next to me is good friend Vincent Casts, and we're going to be bringing you this first part of the broadcast. Vincent, how you feeling tonight?
And I'm feeling fantastic. I'm ready for some cardball. It's been a minute for me. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely excited. I've been playing with some FPS action. I know you know on the side. So coming back to Rocket League, it's going to be a great time. And we got some great matches tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we do have some great matches, and of course, across esports as well, because NACE has just have their fingers in all the different esports pie within the collegiate scene. So if we do take a glance at that schedule, not only do we have Rocket League and Overwatch, kind of a back-to-back, I can't really say double-header, quadruple, potentially, because we got 4 games on the docket for today, but we do have that lining things up on Monday, Tuesday, taking a look at a little bit of League of Legends and Call of Duty, rounding out Wednesday, and then going to end that week off with CSGO, all starting at pretty similar times, around 7 p.m. EST. And we got a whole fantastic schedule ahead for collegiate play, and we're already underway. So this is the first broadcast day, but at least for Rocket League kicking off this week here, we are going to be entering into week 2 of this league play for NACE, and a lot of prize money on the line for these teams. And at least right now, we have things kicking off with St. Clair Saints and Ottawa, 2 Canadian teams here, because we're taking part here in the Canada East conference here within the specific divisions of the teams. And these 2 teams familiar with each other, I'm sure they've played, but it's nice to see that we have 2 winning teams right off the bat in this round robin play.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking, you and I, before we got on broadcast about kind of how this matchup was going to go down. And, well, St. Clair, they are a beast, to be sure. Coming up against the University of Ottawa, it's going to be a difficult matchup for sure for Ottawa. But, you know, the beauty of Rocket League is that, you know, anything is possible. You can always pull out, you know, goal here, victory there. And in the best of 5, of course, that kind of extends the entirety of the matchup. So I'm excited to see kind of what goes on, but I'm definitely on the lookout for these St. Clair Saints. If they can show us what I sort of expect, this might be a really one-sided affair.
Ottawa was a team once upon a time within the collegiate Rocket League scene that was very heavily investing within trying to find the top tier talent within the region, and they were able to pick up a pro player temporarily in Aleutian, who is no longer on the current roster. And then the tide somewhat turned. St. Clair, a facility that is being built right now, $20 million in the total budget, and this is a team that has recruited Comp J and Spoods, 3 of the best players in really all of the country of Canada, on top of the fact of taking a lot of summer tournaments for collegiate play, taking down really, I would say, perennial winners from year to year within CRL. So this is a team with a statement to make, and I think tournaments like this are things to see if they do slip up, because I think a huge aspect of top tier teams is their ability to actually just crush the competition when they need to, and not have those minor slip ups in league play and let teams that you feel like on paper they should be taking down, and then maybe let a couple games slide here and there.
Yeah, you touched on a great point, Danger Taco. It's about consistency. Consistency is key for some of these teams, and especially so for ones that are that have the star power that the likes of St. Clair does. So then that opens the door for the likes of University of Ottawa to maybe jump in there and disrupt things, get in their heads maybe just a little bit, you know, and then maybe find like an upset map here or there. And for University of Ottawa, I mean, that's like huge for them to pick up, you know, even a map or 2 victory, you know, come late in the season. You know, map diff can definitely be a factor, but we're getting underway here as we are going St. Clair College against the University of Ottawa.
And so right off the bat, I'm looking for the speed to come out. St. Clair's a team that loves to bring the pressure early and often. It's up to you, Ottawa, to be able to answer that. But we haven't seen too much from this Ottawa side, so can't really be ruling them out before the match has even begun. Or at least in this opening 30 seconds, we're going to have a lot of pressure off that backboard. Jay-Chan just trying to reach for it, and they cannot reach far enough. Jay pounded in the first goal.
Yeah, and you can see how there's a bump early on. Don't know if we'll see it in the... No, we don't. But Spoods hits a fantastic bump to dislodge the player actually waiting in the goal. And that opens up Jay for the easy score, dunking it right in. Early lead for St. Clair.
just shows how relentless that attack can be. In fact, right off the kickoff, Comp's gonna get a chance, and they are going to absolutely slap that one into the top shelf, threading through 2 defenders for 2-0.
Fantastic aerial work there from Comp, and like you said, just threading that needle. No one able to get there in time. Everyone on their back foot. And, well, we talked about an explosive start. This is about as explosive as it gets. 2 goals, 30 seconds in.
I know in other broadcasts they had played against Akron, one of the best teams in really Collegiate Rocket League history, and they were taking it to them. And right now, Ottawa is learning that lesson. Every single touch needs to be taken seriously. We're 42 seconds in, and it's already 3-0.
I mean, yeah, that one is pretty much just telling you the story on its own, and it was a fantastic placement of that ball. Heck, he couldn't get to it, and, well, it's all over from there. Another early bit of aggression, but this time J-Chen, putting some hurt on their opponents.
And Demos can really do a great job to be able to disrupt rotations, obviously because it takes someone off the field, but then the other players have to cover a position that was previously covered by a teammate, so it throws everything out of whack. I think if Ottawa wants a chance to maybe just throw the vibe of the St. Clair rotation off, it could be a nice asset that they can bring up, but I think they would take some possession, as right now it just seems like the midfield line is a solid wall as St. Clair keeps marching down the field, and they're going to get rewarded again with number 4.
Yeah, you talked about rotations. This is all about rotations here. Ottawa's rotations are, they're just everywhere because they're trying to find an opening, trying to find a moment to get past that midfield line that you're discussing, and, well, it just hasn't happened yet. And so with the 4-0 lead, St. Clair continuing to just demolish the University of Ottawa side, but maybe an opportunity here for you, Ottawa.
Certainly so. Hexy with a beautiful pass right down from his teammate, and he's going to slot it into the far post. And game ones are warm-up games, and certainly you'd have to think Ottawa has had to get warm very quickly. Glad to see they got something underneath in the opening 90 seconds.
Hey, listen, believe it or not, this is just a minute and a half in. You just said it. There might be some nerves here for you, Ottawa. They're not sure what's going on, but with another demo there and a nice little shot, I don't know that you Ottawa are really out of this yet. You got to keep in mind this is the best of 5.
Yeah, and games are won one game at a time, and of course, if game ones are your warm-up, you want to get the ugliness out of the way. Certainly have to understand what your team is being dealt as Comp. They've done it with power, and now they're doing it with finesse. Up into the air, faking underneath, and a simple tuck-in.
That's nasty. Dirty, if you will. Comp showing off the skills right there on the server live. 5-1 now. St. Clair still ahead by a lot, but U Ottawa, they are answering back in kind.
So U Ottawa trying to advance down. They keep going back to this smaller possession play, not wanting to give it away. Unfortunately, they do just that with the dribble. Jay setting up the back post play. Spoods is there. No number 6 yet, as Jay and Comp will turn around. Hexy. No contact, so J-Chan trying to take over with a simple tap and will be demoed for those efforts. Claude. Long hit down. Something they can potentially chase, but it's going to be a giveaway. Hexy, another shot attempt almost from the same angle. That one's going to bounce wide. J-Chan sent it back in the danger area. No one there except for Claude. Late challenge, great save, another great save by Comp. And the scoreline's going to remain the same even when U Ottawa is marching up the field. They have to earn every single shot.
You thought they only had offense, but defense is there too. St. Clair just able to defend with style, always there. Comp as well, been a star player on the offensive side of the ball, now on the defensive side as well.
It's actually a hallmark of their play that was really admired throughout the summer series, a Sonic-sponsored event for Collegiate Rocket League, is they were putting up great numbers in offense, but more importantly, when they needed to, if they just want to park the bus in front of goal and just defend, they can do that, and they can do it incredibly well, as you saw with that double save. Ottawa probably just trying to slam their head against the desk, wondering what they have to do to get some goals. I think that's an evidence of things to come if a strategy doesn't start emerging here for you, Ottawa. At least they're getting some challenges in the midfield as we settle into a bit of a mid-game stupor here in game number 1. Still about 90 seconds up to play, but no changes in the scoreline.
Yeah, but the good news is the last 2 minutes, it hasn't just been that one-sided affair that we saw in the first 90 seconds. University of Ottawa, they're there or thereabouts, and they're making great defenses, just like that one, in the air, out in front of their net.
They'll continue those defenses, but ultimately it's just buying time to be able to rotate back through, and St. Clair trying to take advantage of it, keep the ball in awkward spots. Hexy and Claude in the same position. J-Chan trying to avoid a demo from Jay, and he's going to be a bit too short on that one. Number 6 flying in from Comp.
There it is. Massively. I mean, this is just a fantastic spot, but also, I mean, nobody's there. Nobody can get there in time. Really well placed, and like you said, Jay just hanging out in the back of the net. He's having a good time. 6-1, 1 minute left on the clock. And this is certainly St. Clair's game. The question really is, where is University of Ottawa going to be when the next game comes in? Mentally, are they going to still be in this thing?
I think mentally, really just have to think, okay, when's game 2? You can't really hold on to hope. I think it exhausts you. It's just emotionally taxing to even think about what's going to be required. So ultimately, you have to understand this isn't the end of the world. It's just the end of game number 1. Try to get something on the board, give yourself some morale boost of a goal. And even then, it's going to have to come at a premium. They're just trying to stave off the meme scoreline in the Brazil at this rate, with St. Clair getting all these fantastic dunks. That one's just going to go straight past the far post, but it's certainly, I think, something that would help out Ottawa going into game 2, especially with that mental reset and, of course, the score reset going into the rest of the series.
I mean, you can see one player making an aggressive play, 2 players going back the other direction because they're just expecting to have to come back and defend their own goal. That is a mental boom, if you will, if you see it. I'm not quite sure why that ball was put back into this position, but it tees it up nicely for Claude. I mean, Smooths, yeah, I mean, I guess it was a pass to Jay. I'm not 100% sure on that one, David Taco.
I'd have to think that it was an attempt to be a back pass to the corner, maybe trying to pop it up since they knew their team was on the backboard. But either way, will result in a goal number 2. Maybe not in the way that Ottawa wanted. Maybe they wanted a really cool passing play. But you know what's cool? Putting in an open shot when you're presented with one. And I think they can take solace in that. Maybe not in this game, though. Very confident win going through for St. Clair in game number 1.
Hey, listen, Danger Taco, beggars can't be choosers, okay? You got to take what you're given. And listen, if I am you, Ottawa, I am definitely taking that one and cashing it in. That said, they're going to have to try and cash in on some of that better luck here in game number 2, because game 1, that was a 6-1 sweep, or 6-2 sweep ultimately, but a sweep nonetheless.
And I had alluded earlier to game number 1's being some of the warm-up games, and I think the kind of awkward touches here coming in the beginning really got them into the mix immediately. They had a goal that came in the opening 20 seconds or so, and it's like, okay, that's fine, it happens. And then immediately off the kickoff, a second goal, and then I think it became very deathly clear that we need to get going on every single touch. It can't be this slow, somewhat, test the waters, dip your toe in. You have to go 100% from the get-go, and I think game number 2 is going to be where they apply that lesson, and I'm curious to see if it'll yield any results.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we definitely did see some touchiness from the early stages of University of Ottawa, but you know, maybe that was just that they just got into the gaming facility. You know, they're coming off a day of classes and they didn't get a chance to warm up. That was the warm up, and now they're underway here, and well, they win the kickoff at the very least.
So they will be able to at least somewhat forestall at the beginning of this game, or maybe even get a fast break of their own. J-Chan is heading it into space. Hexy trying to find him back. The pre-flip, and Comp will be equal to it. No contact coming from J-Chan. Claude trying to make up for it, setting up J-Chan. It's a high lob. It's still into the ceiling. Claude will play a possession play back, a much more confident play coming up from Ottawa, as they're the ones trying to take it to St. Clair on offense. J-Chan will commit, and that will not go their way. Claude, another one sent down, and this is a completely different Ottawa squad from game number 1.
100%. I mean, you can see it with the pace of play, the confidence of just going for the ball in positions where before they were playing passively. So I love that they're coming out, taking shots, but it doesn't stop the fact that St. Clair are phenomenal.
Absolutely not, but they're certainly being on their heels at times in these fast breaks. So will Ottawa. Spoods will get a nice steal. Not much of an angle, but they'll buy time with a 50. Hexy on the counter will just send it down, and possession has somewhat yielded the way towards some long ball. Jay trying to get back to a cautious play will get demoed for their efforts. Comp, high lob into the middle, will be met by Spoods. Just a tap down in the midfield. No one there except for J-Chan. They flailed a bit, but ultimately were able to get that clear off. Ottawa will continue trying to push up the field as 2 players on St. Clair commit. Claude is there, and they will slap one home. Lead in game number 2 going to Ottawa.
Look at this huge victory here on the 50. I mean, Smoot's going for it, but not going to happen. And, well, I don't even know. Claude, is he needed there? Who cares? Because they got the goal. Ottawa with their first lead, 11 life here in game 2.
I love actually getting a result from that. It can be so frustrating when it feels like you are controlling the pace of play, but then you make a mistake like that in the backfield. Comp, easiest goal of his day.
Oh, and look at this. I think it's nobody with boost here on the right-hand side gonna be able to get there back in time. And yeah, just a rotational error from Ottawa. Let's just do a tied game immediately after their victory.
1-1 for the tally mark for both teams. 1 for Caster Curse, at least on the broadcast right there. I was just talking about how Ottawa felt so confident and their movement was clean and every touch they're getting is actually following through with purpose, and then they just barely miss out on a clear, and that's the way you give it up. And it can be frustrating. Your only goal given up is off of a mistake, but you still have time. They're in this game, an even scoreline, and they're getting some fairly dangerous touches, but so is St. Clair. That's going to waterfall straight down. It's a brilliant save from Hexy to keep things level here. Spood's going to try one more time, but another 50 from Hexy is going to send it across mid.
Yeah, that clear, maybe doesn't have so much of a plan, but you got to just get it out of the danger zone at that point. It's really a tough position to be in. And now with some control here on the St. Clair side of things, I love what Ottawa are doing. They're kind of playing for those 50 balls a lot more often.
And the lack of hesitation is really apparent in game number 2. And sometimes it can be a little reckless. You're just diving in just for the sake of diving in. But oftentimes, a lot of great teams want that hesitation out of you because it gives them space to give them options. The more you rush it out and the more successful those challenges are, I think it really does do a lot to disrupt what Saints are trying to do. I think we're starting to see that right now where the game has evened out, so to speak. And Ottawa is still searching for a way ahead. It certainly have a much brighter path ahead of them than they did in game 1 at this point.
Yeah, well, you can always fix mistakes. You can't. It's hard to get a player who's hesitant to get that killer instinct, and that's why people look for it. That's why players are so good who have that instinct, indeed. But well, with a minute 40 now on the clock, a tied game, complicated 0-0, as my friend Sepulence loves to say, and this is down to the wire.
We'll see in the final 90 seconds if anyone will be able to actually thread that shot through. That's a field start from J-Chan on the way back. Spoods, enough time to find Jay in space, lurking for the double. Claude is there. Good back post coverage. And now J-Chan trying to rip up the field to get the 50. Now Comp, low challenge. J-Chan will be able to give chase. It's a nice 50, but Claude is there. Another 50 by Spoods. Hold it in place. St. Clair does not want to leave this half. They'll have another 50 to keep it there. J-Chan, another one, high lob. Seeing a lot of midfield play, and eventually something has to give as Hexy's last back, low boost, Comp, low shot, and a brilliant save yet again from Hexy.
I mean, Hexy defensively is absolutely phenomenal right now, just hitting everything, putting it away from the net and making sure no one from St. Clair can get close enough to take the goal.
So working out of midfield, Hexy yet again trying to be the catalyst for both the defense and the offense here for Ottawa. They're going to get called into action one more time. It's their last back. J-Chan is lurking on the sideline. They'll be called into action with a midfield pass. Bit rich for Claude, but maybe getting one touch. They will. It's over top of one. A double commit will yield an awkward touch for Comp. Hexy roaring up field. We got 15 seconds remaining. Ottawa tried to steal one right at the death as St. Clair will retreat one more time. Claude off the backboard. Jay, another clear, and Hexy will have to retreat. You have to wonder if they're better off playing for overtime, but if you're confident enough, why not take one more shot at it? J-Chan trying to go coast to coast, the flip reset, but Spoods will cut that one out. Hexy will lob it down the line for J-Chan to tap. One more effort, but the pace has really died out, and we will indeed be looking at overtime here in game number 2.
And like 10 or 15 seconds of just 1 second sitting over the pitch, and man, yeah, I'm looking for this one. Ottawa with a fantastic opportunity to grab a game off of St. Clair. We talked about it, how they are certainly underdogs, but they've turned it around here in game number 2.
Might be able to end it right here. J-Chan with the delayed flick. Hexy on the follow! And deservedly, Hexy gonna bury the goal that gives Ottawa the tie game in the series.
Hexy is key. Absolutely incredible on the defensive side. Now takes the winning goal to tie up the series. Truly a two-sided player here, Danger Taco, really stepping up to the plate. We talked about Comp, right? In game number one, we discussed that dual threat potential. Well, we got a dual threat on both sides.
Yeah, and this is exactly the fight that we wanted to see. Not only are they getting, obviously, the goals that they need, out shooting St. Clair, which in game number one felt like such a foregone conclusion. What? No, of course they're not going to be able to compete with that because you saw the pace difference. But that's why these series are so important. Just having that short-term memory, moving into game number two, and believing in your playstyle. Fast touches, hitting around defenders, capitalizing on mistakes. That's what gets you a win. It got you Ottawa the win in game number two. And as we slide into game number three, I'm wondering what St. Clair is going to do because the ball is now in their court. They have been answered back. Everything they were trying last game was pretty much stifled by fantastic Hexy defense. Either he has to slow down at some point to slide something back or something that you're doing needs to change.
You really hit the nail on the head. Short memory. St. Clair, they got to forget about it. They got to play their own game here. They got caught up in playing Ottawa's game last map, and now they got to buckle down, do their own thing.
Comp will try to start things off with a nice shot. Good contact, but not the accuracy. J-Chan on the pre-flip will be able to set up Claude for the slow dribble. St. Clair trying to wait back for some of these challenges, and it's not ideal touches. Hexy will take a low 50. It's just going to bounce out to Spoods, who will then find Comp. Three-person passing play for Jay will be cut out by Claude. A good awareness of the developing danger from U Ottawa will stifle the early attempts at some teamwork from St. Clair, and the opening minute is nearly done now, but it seems like we're really just unpausing from game number two. U Ottawa still doing a great job to hem this St. Clair team in their half.
Yeah, but there's been some good ideas. I mean, we just saw it, the passing play, very much apparent, and yeah, great read from U Ottawa to put the kibosh on it early, but it was there, a good idea.
So ideas are there for a reason. They give you things to try out, to try to nick the defense in their vulnerable moments, but ultimately they don't matter unless they don't start executing. And St. Clair is full of ideas, a very creative team, but they're certainly in a rut right now. Can't say the same about U Ottawa, almost getting a double tap off that setup, but they're gonna have to deal with the counter. Comp gets a help out from the teammate, and he can't place it much better than that.
I mean, Claude is just entirely blocked off from this play. There's just no Claude here, and Comp, with the help, able to just nail it. You can see Claude, he got there late. He would have been there on time, but just incredible look to swarm St. Clair to push him out of that play and essentially just negate his presence entirely.
That's what's a lead blocker so valuable. Even if you don't get the demo, it gives the defender just one more thing to take into consideration. Just like this one, actually a double commit from U Ottawa, and Spoods doesn't get great contact, but they all count the same.
Well, and here's the thing. Claude's got to be human after that one. It's frustrating to get blocked like that. You hate to get, you're taken out of the game. You're unable to do anything. And that is probably what I'm seeing there. Some frustration coming out in the open for U Ottawa. Double commit, lack of communication, and they get scored on again. So it's now a 2-goal game where it could have just been the one.
When Jay-Chan had a different idea than the execution would tell, as they don't get a solid touch on this. So on the far side, Jay lobbing one into the open middle. A 50 actually sends Comp flying right past the challenge. So Claude, trying to rebuild something, will be 50'd. Hexy, low touch and will only go the way of Comp. Jay, quick challenge, and now St. Clair trying to turn up the pace. It's almost like sharks in the water smelling blood. They're just trying to swarm the ball as quickly as possible. And it's certainly dealing a lot to U Ottawa's confidence to just be able to build out of their own half. Still struggling to get this touch as Hexy, as Comp's trying to close down this gap.
Whoa.
And finally, with a long ball, they'll have a little bit of chance to breathe here as we hit halftime.
Fantastic win there by Hexy, dodging two players. He's back once again. That dual threat we were discussing, setting up for the attack, and now with the defense. But again, U Ottawa not quite the aggression that they had before. And what a fantastic placement. Jay on target, exactly what you want to see. No one in position to actually make that save, and it's all over.
That's what sometimes the hesitation we were talking about in game number one, where you see U Ottawa maybe go for a ball and then kind of wait a little bit. What if he goes farther? What if it's a passing play? And then because they don't close that down, Jay actually has nowhere left to go. Calls in Comp, help me out, bud, and gets a beautiful pinch into the open net for 3-0. It might get even worse before it gets better for the U Ottawa side, as Comp just barely missing that wide. And with 2 minutes to go, back to a very familiar situation for Ottawa, trying to dig themselves out of a hole where it seems like they've kind of dug themselves, as we'd mentioned with these mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. It's been a game of mistakes right here in game 3, whereas game 2 was all about aggression and game 1 was all about warming up. So, you know, for University of Ottawa here, they just need to end on a good note at the very least, to not even win this game. They just need to keep their mental steady.
Ooh, and I do like these attempts coming from J-Chan with the solo play. I had a player blocking him, but unfortunately that angle was just a bit too sharp for them. So they'll have to go back to the drawing board with their softer touch into the corner. Comp will cut that one out. Claude, another one. Into Spoods. J-Chan onto the near post. The quick turn will be able to keep the ball temporarily in. Eventually these deep rotations will give way for the St. Clair counter. Jay, bit of a giveaway though. J-Chan, deep clear into Spoods, and Claude has player Hexy waiting in the midfield for him. Can he beat that last defender? Jay, too quick, and another tap around. And this ball spending a lot of time in the corner, but that is where it will stop, as really the St. Clair defense playing as actively as their offense has throughout this game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, you can see St. Clair kind of buckling down here. They know they don't necessarily need to score, so they're okay with playing it, you know, a little bit more passively, just playing it safe on that defense, not allowing for any real opportunities to come through. And then when they get the opportunity themselves, okay, putting another one on target. Good defense from Claude, though.
I do love that ability of these top-tier teams to be able to play fast and be able to beat players to balls, but when they understand that a fake would be advantageous, slow the play down. That's all they need. And right there, simple play as you like. Comp just slapping off the sidewall, and Jay has open pastures of space to put in number 4.
Yeah, Jay now with 2 goals on the open net. He's loving life. He's feeling good, and he's ready for more. 4-0 the score, and 24 seconds on the clock. Like I said, this isn't about winning for Ottawa anymore. It's about the mental. It's about keeping themselves in things. And, well, you know, here in the last 2 minutes, they've done a good job of at least playing in the opposite half and not doing as much defense.
No, but they can get one maybe at the depth here. Claude with a pre-flip. Even that one not going to be fast enough. St. Clair trying to keep this clean sheet. One more thrust forward from the offense will be stopped with a demo temporarily. Claude with a 50 will send it into the half again. Hexy takes it to the sideline. Oh, they're going to have to get a flick to go over one more defender. It will go to the corner instead, and Spoods and Jay are there. You try to send it into a chaotic position. Credit to Ottawa for keeping this ball up. They've done this a couple times, but ultimately, St. Clair, very minimal that you can do to stop this team when they're on a roll.
Yeah, and rolling they were absolutely one-sided. That affair, game 3, going St. Clair's direction. And, well, you know, what? Yeah, you got to ask the question, right? What did University of Ottawa do wrong there that they did well in game 2? And for me, there's a couple of big answers. Number 1, there's mistakes. The first couple goals were just big mistakes, and you know, University of Ottawa, they're gonna know they are mistakes, and they're gonna take a moment, think about them, and then try not to do those again. And we've seen them do that execution before in game 2. I have no doubt they can make that happen. But the other thing that I will say got a little sloppy was the rotations. You know, quite a few times, nobody back, nobody in position to defend the long-range goal, and that is twofold, right? Rotations are number 1, but it is the hesitancy to go for those 50-50s in midfield. That is also another aspect of that. You open things up, you let Jay take those shots, and, well, he's going to take every shot you give him.
So learning those lessons, can they be condensed into something of a, let's say, complete game plan for Ottawa? It seems like ever since game number 2, they've struggled on one side of the ball or the other. They have to bring it all together because they have no more lives left. This is a best of 5, and they are now facing down a match point. It's not going to be easy if Comp is just going to be dancing through people like this for the opener.
This is truly a dance. I mean, I don't know what it's called, but, you know, it needs a name. It's fantastic. Nice little lift there over the defender, making it look easy. No one's home, not at all, and it's straight for the net and a lead for St. Clair. You love to see it, but, well, that's just one goal. The University of Ottawa ready to try and answer that call.
And I think this is where you really need to take the deep breath. It's almost, I think, so tempting just to fall into this here we go again type of mentality where you had a good game, but it's kind of flash in the pan. But now you have to know this is a lot of time to deal with, and also one goal is absolutely nothing in a high-level Rocket League. You just got to get one shot on target, one clear opportunity. So hopefully see U Ottawa dig deep for this one, though St. Clair certainly looking confident. Maybe not with these touches, though, as Comp actually gives one away. J-Chan takes too much time, and Jay's going to be able to close down. I thought they would be better off leaving that for Hexy, but I guess we'll never know. On the counterattack, J-Chan will have a chance to make up for it with a nice save, and will. Comp not making it another touch that is going to be so easily cleared. Another air dribble will be turned away, and back out to mid we go.
It's all about experience here. How much experience in game do you have? How many times have you been in this position? Do you know for sure that you could make the comeback? I think U Ottawa knows. They are aware, and like I said, experience is key for these players. As with 3 minutes, 30 seconds ticking away, it's just that one goal lead that St. Clair hold on to.
Both these teams undefeated in the league through week number 1, so at least one of them is going to be dealt their first loss, and pace of play is any indication. St. Clair looks to be the team to extend their win streak, but gaps in the defense are exploitable as J-Chan unable to get the double tap. Coming through is Claude. They're just barely going to miss this, so J-Chan will take over. A lot of space to deal with in the midfield. Spoods closes it down. Now Claude. Missed clear. Jay on the follow. That's going to scream past the far post, and J-Chan will have plenty of time to go back again. St. Clair almost seems to be biding their time for these shots, just trying to get one nice rip on target. And if any hesitation coming out of midfield does come in from U Ottawa, it's almost like then they know when to pounce. It's nice to see that predator vision coming through for them on offense. Almost paying off, though, with a shot, but the crossbar says no.
Oh, but a massive 50 win for Jay. And with that, it is the goal. Yeah, I mean, that was maybe a little devastating. Claude with the attempted clear, but it's just not enough. Jay wins the 50, and it's St. Clair with the double up on the score.
You can almost see the U Ottawa team almost move forward after that crossbar, thinking, okay, that is our reprieve, and we're able to move forward after that, but then just barely short on that clear. It's a heartbreaker. Make it even worse, though. That's a very wide rotation, but that ball will mercifully roll wide. Jay trying to show no such mercy on that shot will get turned away. Claude on the counterattack will find Hexy, but ultimately will only find Comp off the corner. Sitter for Jay, and they're going to put home number 3.
Yeah, and you asked the question, how could St. Clair deal with U Ottawa like they did, or, if U Ottawa playing like they did in game number 2? We haven't seen that U Ottawa yet again. We just have not. Hexy not been the same player just yet, particularly not defensively. I think it's been consistent at making opportunities on the offensive side, but it's so hard. But with a massive win in the middle, no one home to defend, J-Chan with the goal, I mean, that's what you needed.
Yeah, certainly so. And look at that. I love the lack of patience there from J-Chan. You've seen a couple times now where they've almost been too patient. They take the touch, they try to set up a flick, but instead they know it's an open shot. I just have to slot it better than the goalkeeper's is placed, and they do that very well. But 2 minutes remaining and their series life on the line. They really need to start ramping it up, and I would love to see some demo plays. And as I say that, Claude looking for blood on Comp will not find any, so J-Chan will be called in instead. Still in the play off the sidewall. Great pass across. Hexy was lurking, but so was Jay. A good save across, and Jay will just tap a ball forward for Spoods to chase. Shot on target, but Hexy and J-Chan double commit will yield the same result. Another save out into the corner. On we play, 90 seconds to go.
Yeah, and well, this is kind of do or die time for University of Ottawa. You talked about it. This is their best of 5 life on the line here. They need to score a goal in the next little bit to really keep things competitive, because the longer this sits, the harder it becomes to score 2 goals and tie this game up.
Potential counterattack coming in from Ottawa, but it was thrown a bit far, so now Claude will have to slow things down in midfield. Comp, beautiful take off the air dribble, looking for that near post, will not find, so all 3 players from Ottawa charging to challenge Spoods on the back line. We'll get a clear across the goal, and Comp will gather. J-Chan in the middle. Hexy not close enough to challenge, and Ottawa really needs to start crashing this goal. They are running out of time, and St. Clair only seems to be heating up. Another stylish play, just going barely past the post. These fast breaks starting to build up eventually, so you have to think something's gonna give. Claude with a brilliant fake, but the last second save from St. Clair keeps the scoreline equal. Comp with another save. Hexy keeping it interesting, and Jay to the corner.
Oh my goodness, just so many heartbreakers coming through. Ottawa so close, but yet so far. St. Clair with so many players back, everyone ready in the goal, and no one giving anything away.
And right now, it's really a goal of right now, or this game is over, because you need time for a kickoff. Doesn't look like St. Clair is going to be charitable. They're wasting time. It's going down the sideline, and Spoods will take it to the heavens to spike straight down. 0-second time has been reached, and St. Clair experienced some turbulence, but ultimately a smooth cruise on their way to a 3-1 series win.
And when we were talking about this game on the outset here, Danger Taco, we talked about the potential, right? We were saying, listen, St. Clair probably going to pick this one up, but opportunities abound, and a map win for you, Ottawa, is not the worst outcome. I could have seen this, especially the way game 3 went, or game 4 rather went. That could have been a clean sweep, but University of Ottawa showing their grit, showing that they had what it takes, at least for one map, to put it together, but ultimately not enough. So St. Clair with the big victory. They continue to that 2-0 score line on the season, and unfortunately, you Ottawa down to that 1-1, but it's early on, Danger Taco. Certainly not out of anything playoffs-wise at this point.
No, and absolutely not. And especially with the one thing I think that's really just shows with St. Clair when you're playing against one of the best teams in the East. St. Clair isn't just arguably the best team in Canada. I know with CRL quals coming up, people are very antsy about that title. But as of right now, I would have to say this is the best team in all of Canada. And it shows that when you Ottawa plays their game and plays 100% of what they're aspiring to achieve, they can take it to this team. They can even get a win, as we saw in their one-map win. But the moment you start to falter, the moment those cracks begin to show, the double commits come through, maybe a bit too aggressive going up and you get countered hard, that's when you get punished. And I think those little mistakes, even though they seem minor, I think within the somewhat micro scope of a single game, I think they really broaden out because every single one of those mistakes tends to get punished or at least put into something dangerous. And when you're playing against St. Clair, any mistake's going to get put away. And I think you Ottawa learning that lesson right there. You need to play a near flawless 5 minutes of Rocket League, but then you got to do it at least 2 more times after that. And sometimes that's just too big of a hill to climb.
Yeah, exactly. And the higher level, I say this often, the higher level you get in any esport, there's usually a near a skill ceiling, right? There's, obviously those players that just jump up above that and are outrageously talented. But in general, from like a professional perspective, it's more about limiting mistakes like you're talking about than it is necessarily about, the fancy footwork, the big, huge plays, the great aerials, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's cool to see. And it's great when it happens, but it is about, setting yourself up to take the least amount of, to do the least amount of mistakes rather. And then if you are in that position, then you're in a position to win. Because in number one, you can outplay your opponent and or take advantage of opposing mistakes as well. And that's what you're saying. St. Clair, they are the team that is kind of at that top level. And so they're just waiting for mistakes to happen for their opponents. And even at times when there was mistakes from St. Clair, which we saw a fair few, I don't want to build them up to be, indomitable titans that they are not. But they're so few and far between that it's really not super relevant because we think back game number 1, bit of a weird touch from Spoos, I think it was, allowed for that second goal in the last couple seconds of the game. Well, is that a mistake? Yeah, it is, but does it matter in the long run? It was already a 6-1 score line, so it didn't matter. So for that reason, you get to see how everything works out. Everything is brought together, and in this case, I'll St. Clair take the victory.
And fortunately for St. Clair, they will be taking that victory, as we mentioned. Well-earned victory 3-1 over U Ottawa for those of you just joining us. And thankfully, we'll be able to pick the brain of one such player. I believe we have Comp from St. Clair Saints on the line with us. And Comp, nice to see the W for your squad. And yet another one tapped down. We've been seeing a lot of each other throughout the collegiate scene over the summer. And
of course,
seems like going into the fall now, that form is continuing. How are you guys feeling after that win?
Yeah. No, we're feeling really good after that win. It's our first season in NACE, so it's really good to be able to pull out a win on the first stream match of the season. So feels good.
Heck yeah! I mean, it was a great performance from you in particular. I have the question: how do you come out and prepare for a match like this? What does it look like? An hour before game time. What are you doing?
So an hour before I was playing Valorant. Because you got to get those hands warmed up, right? And then I get on 15 minutes before and do some free play, that's all I need. And then just hop right into the game.
confidence. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about Vincent and I. We were talking within the game where you have to have a short-term memory as a competitive player, I think, at times. And I think game one started in a way that I think we somewhat anticipated, that you guys are fast, you guys are the favorites, and you take a nice lead. But then game two happens, and you not necessarily falter, but Ottawa really brings a much more consistent front, both on offense, but then also much more solid defense. What are the communications like when you play? Is it just normally trying to calm yourselves down, or is it really just, okay, well, now the series has begun and you just have to focus down? Like, take us within really the mindset of the St. Clair starting three.
Well, we go into a match just saying, okay, let's set our own pace and not play off their pace and just go in really confident. So we always like to keep our hype comms and everything like we always have and not try to get low on ourselves. Even if we go down a goal or anything, whatever happens, we go down a game or whatever, we always say, okay, we're fine. Let's hype up, right? And say like we lost game two there. We just talked to what we did wrong, what we had to do better, and what they changed, and then just countered that onto the next games.
You just spoke of setting your own pace. In game two in particular, was that an example of you getting into a situation where you allowed Ottawa to set the pace and you just kind of gave it up for that map?
Yeah, I think they adapted well and caught us off guard for the most part. So they were starting to get more of their touches. And then also on our end, we weren't ready like just to bang the ball. And then they were able just to control it and bring it back onto us. And we decided we had to control the ball more and take our time and then just set a new pace.
And one thing that I think is it's a very unique play style. I don't think I've ever seen a team do this as consistently. Is I love talking about communications and how you talk to your team. What are the comms like when you guys do have those back-to-back-to-back saves? In all of my years of commentating Rocket League, especially in the collegiate scene, I've never seen a team so consistently pull out 3, 4 like goal line saves, barely pre-flipping the ball to the corner in a row. Are those chaotic? Are you guys just shouting at each other, or do you have a plan? Like, I got it if it goes backboard, I got it if it goes right, I got to go left. Like, what is that even like?
Yeah.
I just have no idea how you guys so consistently pull that off.
Yeah, it's a lot of just quick calming, right? Like, unless it's like super chaotic, we're just screaming like, we gotta save it, right? And we're just going in trying to save the ball as quick as possible. Because sometimes you just gotta, comms won't help you in that situation. If they just keep hammering on shots, you just gotta have your own judgment there. But no, when we are controlled and everything, there is a lot of quick comms for a net, and I think that's really makes our defense really strong.
2 final things for you. Number one, tell me what the goal here is for St. Clair College as you move forward the NACE Starleague. What are y'all's long-term goals here for the season? And then at the end there, anybody you want to say hello, shout out to, please go ahead.
To lift that trophy, that's our goal here. We have the same mindset going in, and that's what I think makes us great. I guess shout out to everyone at St. Clair. Shout out to my parents for watching. Appreciate the support, guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Well, we absolutely appreciate you coming in here, and that you get to talk to us and give us some insight. We absolutely appreciate it. So thank you so much. And well, we hope to see more of you and St. Clair College moving forward here in the NACE Starleague.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys.
What a well-spoken young man, Vincent. And of course, it speaks to their confidence that, of course, a team that comes into this and plays as efficiently as them, when you ask them the goal, it's always that redundant thing. It's like when you're interviewing a player on the Super Bowl. What's your goal for tomorrow? To lose? No, of course not. You have to believe that you're going to take it. And honestly, the way that St. Clair brings it, the way that they execute when they're feeling themselves, when they're playing with 100% of their confidence and their vibe going, it's hard to argue that is going to be the end result. So I love to see that it's up there, that consistent lock-in of the mentality.
It's the winner's mindset, and as a competitor, as anybody who plays anything competitively, really, you kind of have to have that mindset. And it's awesome to see, somebody, like you said, so well-spoken, coming out here and really showing us what it means to have that mindset. And with that, I mean, I think we're just about done here with the first best of 5, but we're not done just yet. We're going to throw to a quick little break and get ready for our next matchup, which we'll see in just a few minutes. We'll see you soon.